Another day, another story. Welcome to this video on dividend policy, its different types that companies may use to distribute profits to shareholders, and how to determine the optimal dividend policy for a given company. Dividend policy refers to the decision-making process a company uses to determine how much of its earnings it will distribute to shareholders. There are three main types of dividend policies. Regular dividend policy is where a company pays a fixed amount of dividends to its shareholders at regular intervals, such as quarterly or annually. This policy is commonly used by stable and mature companies. Residual dividend policy is where a company pays dividends based on its residual earnings after it has reinvested in its business. This policy is commonly used by growth-oriented companies. Hybrid dividend policy is where a company uses a combination of regular and residual dividend policies. This policy is commonly used by companies that have both stable and growth-oriented business segments. Determining the optimal dividend policy for a company. Now that we understand the different types of dividend policies, let's explore how to determine the optimal dividend policy for a given company. There are several factors to consider. Companies with stable earnings are more likely to use a regular dividend policy, while companies with volatile earnings may use a residual dividend policy. Companies with significant growth opportunities may use a residual dividend policy to reinvest in their business, while companies with limited growth opportunities may use a regular dividend policy. Companies with high debt levels may use a regular dividend policy to avoid increasing their debt, while companies with low debt levels may use a residual dividend policy to invest in their business. Companies may consider the preferences of their shareholders when deciding on a dividend policy. For example, some shareholders may prefer regular dividends for income, while others may prefer residual dividends for potential capital gains. Let's look at some examples of companies with different dividend policies. Regular dividend policy. Coca-Cola is a mature and stable company that pays regular dividends to its shareholders. In 2021, Coca-Cola paid a quarterly dividend of 42 cents per share. Residual dividend policy. Amazon is a growth-oriented company that reinvests most of its earnings into its business. Amazon has never paid a dividend to its shareholders. Hybrid dividend policy. Microsoft is a company that has both stable and growth-oriented business segments. It uses a hybrid dividend policy, where it pays a regular dividend and also reinvests in its business. In 2021, Microsoft paid a quarterly dividend of 56 cents per share. In conclusion, dividend policy is an important decision-making process for companies. The type of dividend policy a company chooses depends on several factors, including the stability of earnings, growth opportunities, debt levels, and shareholder preferences. By understanding the different types of dividend policies and factors to consider, investors can make informed decisions about the companies they invest in. Thanks for watching.